Hey fans, welcome back to another Flixfrog interview. Today we are talking with the star of the new compilation film Solo Leveling ReAwakening. He's the voice actor for the main protagonist Sung Jin-woo, Mr. Alex Lay. How you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, that's great. And I did pronounce your name correctly.
Yeah, yeah,
All
yeah. You got it. You got it.
right. Thank you. So first off, I like to ask, when I was looking at information about you online, I saw you were born in 1999. How did you get into this line of work of voice acting at such a young age?
I don't really have a glamorous story like other people where they, went through rigorous training via like a expert teacher or they won a contest or anything like that. I just gotten out of college. Well, I was in my freshman year of college and I just felt like there was nothing in there that really intrigued me that I wanted to spend the rest of my life doing. And I'd always had a passion for the arts and stuff like that. And out of curiosity, I was never a performer. I wasn't an actor or anything like that. I did have a lot of stories I wanted to tell, but I was never really all into theater and stuff like that. But I was just like, I really enjoy anime as a medium. I really enjoy video games. I really enjoy cartoons. I love the acting. I love the stories that those actors tell. And one day I was just like, uh, I want to do that. And so I just Googled it and then that's it. I Googled it and then I did a lot of research and eventually that's how I am where I am. How I got where I got. Yeah. But like I say this a lot. I'm like, if you can learn how to change a tire online, you can learn how to do anything online. We're in the age of the internet. So all the information is out there. You just got to figure out how to use it.
Yeah, thank you. That is great. And I would like to say you have a great voice for it. Did anybody tell you like before you did research, like, hey, you just have a wonderful voice. You should do like voice acting, or are you just like,
Oh,
I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna try it out?
absolutely not. My voice didn't always sound like this. In fact, when I started, I had a very heavy accent. It was very high pitched. I was really young, very prepubescent. So no, it was nobody ever told me I had a great voice. Nobody ever told me I should do it. If I heard my voice back then, I would say don't do it actually. But more than just voice, voice works, there were a lot of things that I wanted to tell. Like again, there's a lot of stories I wanted to tell. And regardless of that, I was keen on finding my way to doing that one way or another. So regardless of what this industry had for me or wanted me to be, I just knew that I'll find my way there eventually. So yeah, it not necessarily everybody has to have a good voice in order to be an actor. I think it's all about the potential that you have in you to portray stories either by yourself or somebody else. But that's the magic of voice acting is that you can be anybody and you can do anything, you know.
Mhm. And do you personally like when you're doing your recordings, do you have to change your inflection at all, or you just go in like this is my natural speaking voice, this is what I'm gonna do because I sound so great?
I do have to change a lot. I'm very, very lucky, and I feel that I'm very fortunate to be somebody who gets to play so many different roles because a lot of actors out there are kind of just stuck playing the same type of character over and over again. But throughout the course of my career, I've been very fortunate to get to play so many different types of characters with so many different pitches and motions and complexities that for me it's always fun. Every time I get to do something new that I've never done before, it's always fun to find a new character or to do something that people haven't heard me do before. So that's why I like it so much, I think.
That's great. And just hearing you talk, you just come off as a very relaxed and a very cool character, very much like Sung Jin-woo. And having coming off of recently watching this movie, of course, I just hear a lot of him in you. Do you find any like similarities between you and the character overall?
Absolutely. I think that, just like he was at the beginning when he was before he got his powers and his confidence and everything, he was a very naive young guy who was who wanted to do good, but also at times let his rage and his anger consume him, and was also angry at the world for unfair circumstances or where he was in terms of what he was born with. And I related to that aspect a lot because that felt like what I was going through when I started out in my career. So it was like a little jog down memory lane with doing that voice and putting myself in the same headspace as I was when I was younger. And it's really cool to have a character who shares kind of a similar journey to you where, you know, they gain a an air of confidence, like in essence, like a power to be more than just themselves through hard work and also through circumstance. And it was really cool to see somebody grow like that in a show. And I was just like, this feels a lot like my own journey, but not as murderous and extreme. But yeah, no, it was I do see a lot of myself in him, and I think that was one of the goals that we were going for in this series is to try to put as much of myself into him as possible, to make this feel like a very natural and grounded character that is very much beyond his powers, a real guy, you know?
Hmm. And so going into this project, were you aware of solo leveling beforehand? Like me personally, I I used to read like a lot of manga and watch a lot of anime growing up. Now that I have a wife and kids, it's harder for me to
Mm,
do that. But my friends, none of them have kids. They're still watching and reading everything. And they're like, Harrison, you got to check out solo leveling. You got to do this. So when I finally got the chance to interview you and I got the link to watch the movie, they say, Harrison, do it. I want you to
mm.
interview this guy. So were you aware of this beforehand, or did you kind
I
of
mean,
find out about it getting the job?
I don't have a wife and kids, but I am very busy and I just don't have a lot of time to consume any sort of media nowadays. I wish I did, but I barely get time to watch TV or read like I used to. Like 4 or 5 years ago, I read manhwa all the time, so I was aware of Solo Leveling as a series. But the I read some of it when I was younger, but the the way I really found out about the series is I had a lot of friends who loved the show or loved the series and the franchise, and they told me all about it. And I also had a lot of voice acting peers who were very excited for the show as well, and they were like, "Oh, we're this is gonna be the next big show, this and that," and they would tell me to like check it out. I even had a few voice actor peers who uh when the anime was announced, this was before I even auditioned for the role, they would like email me or they would DM me and they were like, "Oh my God, you would be great for this character." And I'm like, "Oh, really?" But yeah, no, I was briefly kind of familiar with it, but more so from how everybody else in my life was really into it. That's kind of how I found out about it.
Good. So as you mentioned before, like growing up, you read manga, watch anime, and all that. What is your favorite anime of all time?
My favorite anime of all time is an anime called Ping Pong the Animation, actually.
I haven't heard of
And
that.
yeah, no, it's a sports kind of a sports show, but it's a short 12 episode show and it's not just about ping pong. And a lot of people get off put by it because the animation style is different than your typical anime. But I found it to be a very endearing story of growing up, of finding your place in the world and overcoming your own weaknesses to become a better adult. And I feel like that kind of relates to solo leveling as well in a terms of like, you know, somebody who's young and naive, trying to find their way in this world, and running into a lot of circumstances that shape them as a person. And I love those stories where it's about change, you know, about somebody who not only changes in their powers, but also changes in their morality and changes in how they perceive everything else around them. But yeah, no, that show stuck with me a lot. So.
But I'm gonna have to check that one out. Me growing up in the 90s, Dragon Ball Z probably just sits
Oh,
at the top
absolutely.
of my pantheon. Uh,
That's definitely like a show that I hold very dear in my heart, you know. So
yeah,
that's a fan favorite and that's a personal favorite as well for sure.
yeah, and then there's tons of other. And so are there any other like manga or manhwa that you enjoy as well? Like stuff that maybe hasn't been adapted into an
Oh yeah, I
animation?
mean, like I said, I love stuff about change. I love stuff about growth. I love stuff about character development. And of manga I really enjoy is called Vagabond. And
I've heard
then,
of that. I've heard
yeah,
of
yeah,
that.
yeah. And then another one by the same author, Takahiko Inoue. It's called Real. It's about wheelchair basketball and like
Oh wow.
also regular basketball as well. Because he wrote Slam Dunk, and this is like a much more less shonen take on a sports anime, and it's more like very grounded people and their problems with, you know, again finding their place via sports and stuff like that. So I love anything to do with change and with growth and development. So those are my top two for sure.
Sounds great. I'm gonna check out that second one. So outside of Sung Jin-woo, what character have you voiced that you think you connect with, I don't know, on a deeper level outside of Jin-woo?
That's so hard to say because I've voiced so many different characters who, there's this trend like with Sung Jin-woo where it's like I've voiced a lot of characters that have 2 sides to them, and, when you do something like that, every character you voice kinda covers different parts and personalities of you, so that's just hard for me to say because I feel like I could say that about any character I voice. There's a little bit of me in a lot of them, in a lot of shows that I've worked on, and, there's shows like Mashal or like, Tokyo Revengers or Demon Slayer, Solo Leveling's a big one. There's so many great Vinland Saga, there's so many great shows that I've injected so much of my own, life lessons and stuff into, so, yeah, it's so hard to choose.
I'm telling my friend Jordan would be very jealous of me having this conversation right now. All of those shows you just mentioned, he really loves all of that stuff.
Well, you tell him I
Um,
said hello, so
I will let him know. I will let him know. He'll be happy to hear it. So with the movie Solo Leveling Reawakening, I really like how different it is. In fact, it's like a recap of the first season
Mhm.
plus the first two episodes of the next season. What do you want fans to look out for going into seeing this movie?
I want them to know that they don't have to be a diehard fan of Solo Leveling to enjoy it because the recap does make an entertaining way to wrap everything up from the first season. But I also want them to know that if they enjoyed it, they should go back and watch the first season because there's so many more moments that have really good payoff if you watch through the entire episodes. So even though I feel like the movie does a great job of recapping everything, I do feel that the payoff would feel better if you went back and you checked out the entire season. But other than that, the action is only going to get better from here. And so anything that you enjoyed in the show, just expect it to get dialed up even more in the upcoming season. So yeah.
Yeah, and I'm very excited. That's the first thing I did. I had to talk to my cousin about it. I said I watched the movie, it was great. But now I kind of want to watch the full first season just to see
Yeah.
exactly how he got from point A to point B. And my
No, no, no.
cousin's read the
It's
entire
awesome.
manhwa.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's read the entire manhwa, so he tells me that yeah, you'll be excited to watch it.
Mm,
But yeah,
absolutely.
I am excited, and I want to give you the opportunity. Do you have any other projects coming up after Solo Leveling Reawakening that you would like to talk about?
Uh, I mean, other than, Solo Leveling Season 2, which is coming out in January that I'm super pumped for, and there's a show called Don to Don that's also airing at the same
Everybody's
time.
talking about
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
but other than those 2, everything else is under NDA. They're kind of secretive. So I
Gotcha.
always say people will find out when they find out. But I'm very, very excited to get back into Solo Leveling for Season 2. There's a lot of fun stuff that we'll be exploring soon, and I can't wait for everybody to see it.
Yeah, and I can't wait to watch. I tell you, like I said, I really enjoy this movie. I really enjoyed the character. I'm now gonna have to make time just to
Yeah,
watch that
no,
whole
I
first
think
season
you
to catch
enjoy it.
up.
I think you enjoy it.
Yeah, so I'd like to thank you very much for speaking with me today, Mr. Lay. It was really interesting just hearing your natural speaking voice, hearing you talk about your love of anime and manga and this series. And hopefully I get a chance to interview again in the future.
Yeah, thank you
That
so
would
much
be
for having me on. I really, really appreciate it.
It was really wonderful. And for those of you watching, you can watch this full interview on the YouTube channel and the website, flipfrogllc.com/flixfrog. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Reddit. And please, pretty please, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I'll be seeing you.